Frothy. Let's talk Fragile. Yeah, I think it came about mostly because of our headline gig in Retro. I think it was back in February. We kind of went on a mad writing spree before that time because we weren't completely happy with the set, so we wanted to inject some new songs into the set. So I was on a bit of a writing splurge. I think the first song that came about was Ghostlands. Pretty immediate for me actually. Al sent over this shuffling kind of beat, and at the time I was having loads of sleepless nights because there was the whole Wuhan theory. We'd just gone over Brexit, Christmas had happened, which was a bit of light relief, but then the kind of Wuhan story started coming through. I was on all these different chats, watching all this footage of stuff going on, and it kind of made me nervous. I've lost sleep for a lot of time. I think I went for like 2 or 3 weeks where I just had really, really fractured sleep. And I guess Ghostlands is the kind of result of those nights. I would get up and I would just be coming downstairs, sat in front of the computer, listening to the stuff I had sent over, and I was starting to kind of fit lyrics and ideas around the music. So Ghostlands came quite easy for me at the start actually. So when we first made Ghostlands, it kind of came into its form pretty immediately. But then actually when it got closer to the EP being released, I really struggled with the vocals on it, because I'm not sure whether I'd been hammering it for about 3 or 4 weeks. I had this idea in my head of how the vocals should sound, but yeah, I think I got there in the end. It was a challenging one of that actually, really challenging, but I'm really happy with the result. Interestingly actually, Owen, our manager, Love You Tiger Boy, he didn't want that to be the first song on the EP, he wanted Contact, but I kind of wanted to create a song in the same vein that Suede had done with introducing the band. I always think if you're going to have a collection of songs, there needs to be a beginning, a middle and an end. So I think that's a really, really good beginning, and Contact actually is a really, really good end. So I'm quite happy with the kind of bookends to the EP. I think it works really well. As for the themes of Ghostlands, it's actually really dark. I said it came about through nightmares really. Restless sleep, not sleeping at all. So in terms of the lyrics, there's some really dark imagery in there. But I kind of love the fact that it's an unusual EP, that in the first minute of the EP it's talking about supply chains failing, standing above somebody's body. It's just all kinds of dark imagery. And actually the end part, when there's like a different vocal that kicks in just for the end and it's shouting something about trapped in Ghostlands, I think that's really effective. I can almost imagine that live on a big stage. Not that we'll probably ever get to do that, but if we did, I think it'd be a hell of a way to open the show. Next track on the EP next track on the EP is It's Not the End of the World. No, it's not the end of all time, it's the end of the world. Christ. Do that again. So the next track on the EP is It's Not the End of All Time, it's just the end of the world. So It's Not the End of the World is meant to be in brackets, but I'm not sure Al's a big fan of the brackets, but I snuck it on the release anyway. He might shout at me on Tuesday. We'll see. So actually that song, Al sent it to me, the actual backing and the instruments and stuff. He sent it to me about 3 or 4 months ago. And I had some ideas for the verse that came around straight away, although they're not the lyrics that sit on it at the moment, but the actual verses came around, the melody anyway, came about pretty much straight away, and I really, really liked it. But the chorus I actually really struggled with, so I kind of put it in my back pocket for a couple of months, to the point where Al had actually forgotten about it. And I think it was about four weeks ago now, I sent him the version with the chorus on it now. And yeah, he was kind of like, oh, I forgot about this one. So I always like to surprise him by doing stuff like that. But actually I think it works really, really well. I kind of like that it's in the same vein of all those great apocalyptic songs, like It's Not the End of the World, blah, blah, blah. It's like our take on it. And I think there's some hope in there. It's some of the verses are pretty bleak, because obviously everyone's going through strange times at the moment, and that kind of translates itself. But actually, there's the chorus is pretty hopeful, I think. We'll see. Next song on the EP is called Josephine. Love Josephine. Al sent over the tracking for it, and he said it might be a bit cheesy, might be a bit 80s-ish, but I kind of love that about it. I've always wanted in my life to do a really, really great song that's named after a girl. So if we look back through music culture, there's loads of them. So you've got Human League, Louise, there was that track Eloise from the 80s as well. Just all kinds of great songs named after ladies. Ruby Tuesday's another great one. So it's like one of those tick box exercises that I just wanted to write a great song named after a lady. And I think Josephine's kind of great. For me, it's a love song for the end times. There's almost pleading in there. I think it's just a great pop song. I'm really, really happy with that one. And there's the refrain at the end as well, when the extra kind of layer of vocals come in at the very end. And the first time you hear it, I hope that you kind of like prick up and oh, that's a bit strange. But I kind of like it. I think it's really, really good. I love the fact that it's about 4 minutes as well. I think it's about 4 minutes 20. And that's really good because we have a tendency to do 6 or 7 minute 6 or 7 minute songs. So it's actually really good that we reined ourselves in a bit on that one. I love the intro as well. Well done, Al. Great intro. Track 4 in the EP, The River. Wow, where'd you start with The River? Deeply personal for me, probably. It's probably more linear song than I would normally do. There's a definite story to the lyrics, which is probably something I'm not a fan of usually, because I kind of like to leave the lyrics open-ended so you can almost imprint your own thoughts on them. I kind of think that for me it's a song about redemption, a song about forgiveness. And I think that the chorus translates into that. In my head, the chorus is meant to be a big kind of ELO-esque, massive chorus about positivity and letting all your kind of regrets flow out to sea, as it says in the lyrics. And I think to an extent we've pulled that off. I think the chorus sounds nice and bright and positive and lively, and that's nice. And it's probably different to anything we've done before. Interestingly enough, the actual structure of The River is from an old song that we did probably about 2-3 years ago now, when we first started writing together, but never quite worked before. So it's always good to go back and revisit these old songs and see what you can like pull and change and kind of make new again. And I think The River is a really great example of that. I think it's a really powerful song. I think Al's production on it as well is really excellent, so that the instrumentation is just marvellous. Interestingly enough, Contact, it's the one song that everyone's been coming to me and saying, it sounds like a real progression. It kind of feels like you're making a journey here, you've made the next step. But actually Contact's the oldest song on there. So, I love Contact. We kind of did it 3 years ago, but not nowhere near as good as we're doing it now. I just love the fact that I get to play around with electronic voices, bleak voices as well. But yeah, there's something great in there. There's the first set of vocals when I think I'm singing, I don't think I know. I know how you feel, I feel it too. I know how you feel, I feel it too. And it's just kind of this kind of mantra of acceptance, and we're all in this together. So I kind of like that. But also it doesn't go up a scale, or it doesn't go up a key, but it kind of hits this kind of pinnacle bit halfway through the song where it says about the blowing through my brain till nothing remains. And I kind of love that kind of journey the vocals take, and they kind of take you to that different level. I think that's really good. I just think it's a great song. It's kind of us letting loose a bit of the Simps and letting Al create his own little world there. And I'm just kind of in the background, singing the odd thing and putting my electronic voices in. I think it works really, really well. I'm sure Al would have more to say about the track than that. But I can see it probably being our end song going forward for the set. We'll see. We'll see if I can fit all those pedals with the samples on stage. Right, well that's me. I've kind of blapped on about the EP enough now. I just hope that you guys like it and you actually go out and listen to it, so that would be good. What's next? We need to get out of lockdown. We need to do some gigs. it's going to be really hard to promote the EP without actually going out and playing gigs. So that's going to be a challenge, but I think we'll just have to take social media and keep hammering people until they actually click play and hopefully fall in love with it like we have. I think 5-song EPs are probably the future for us. If you're aware of our circumstances, we don't do this full time, obviously. You can tell by the amount of followers we've got and the fact that we record everything at home, but lives can be really challenging. We've both got full-time jobs, pretty demanding jobs as well. We've both got kids, mortgages to pay, so the idea of dedicating time and trying to produce a full album in our home studios to the level we want to do it would be a pretty massive task. So the fact we're doing these 5-song chunks, I think that's probably the way we're going to continue. I think we're already at least 2 or 3 songs into the next EP. One of them, Distant Friends, fantastic, perfect pop song, can't wait to share that. But yeah, that's what's next, probably another EP. Probably take us a couple months to get that one together, 2 or 3 months. Keep hammering Fragile, make sure people are listening to it, try and build a bit of a fan base from Fragile. Then hopefully later in the year take to doing some gigs again. That'd be good. Miss gigging. Happy Sunday.